Hey. um yeah, so this is the after show for tonight's live, which was All Lives Can't Matter Until Black Lives Matter. And the topic basically came from a lady that was protesting on Saturday in a district here where I live that is very diverse. And it was a white lady carrying a sign that says All Lives Can't Matter Until Black Lives Matter. And she was literally just walking down the street alone protesting Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And when I read her sign, it like for the last few days, I've just truly been thinking about how I didn't go to stand with her, unite with her. Did that mean that my life meant more to her than it did to me? The other three individuals that I was with didn't go and protest with her. Does it mean that their life was more important to her than to them? And so it really brought me to back to Black Lives Matter and what message are we trying to get across? And the message is, of course, Black Lives Matter. We matter just as much as any other life in this country. And yet sometimes we're treated worse than animals. Like there are lab rats get treated better than we do as a people. And we somehow talked about the situation in Atlanta with Rayshard. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And we talked about George Floyd, and we talked about Samir Rice, and basically how, well, for me, how those things those situations can't be lumped together. Like, we have to have real conversations about what happened in Atlanta. We have to sit down with other officers to see, not just because I don't know that if the officers were Black, that situation would have been handled differently. I don't know. I know what I saw in a video. I don't know where Rayshard's mind is. I know that I wouldn't dare say if he just complied, he'd still be alive, because that's not true either. We know Philando Castile complied. We know that even George Floyd, as we just recently watched him be murdered. I said I will not do what Candace Owens did and vilify the victim. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to say is, for this movement, we need to be very clear about what our agenda is. We need to be very mindful about what we want and what we want the world to look like. Are we asking for a piece of the world? Are we asking to be a part of the world? Are we asking for our own sector of the world? What is it that we want? Because right now we have a movement called Black Lives Matter that even all Black people aren't on. So again, what do we want? I know that I want my sons and even my daughters to be able to leave our home, be safe, and return home safely, just like every other parent in this country. But I also know that every other parent isn't dealing with the anxiety, the PTSD, the stress of seeing people that look like them getting gunned down, being shot by police officers. And I think that we've seen it so much that we don't even know what is justified anymore or what's not justified. We don't know what policing should look like, or what protect and serve look like. We don't know. We have officers that carry a gun, but our expectation is that they don't use it. They use all means necessary. So many times I've heard people say, why didn't they tase him? Why didn't they tase them? Why didn't they shoot him in the leg? Like, in this case, he was tased. They tried to like, I don't know that there was another way to handle it. And to hear people say, well, they had his keys. They had his license. It wasn't like he could drive. They could have caught him. But this is a man that went from being completely calm, drunk, but calm, to a full-on wrestling, tussling, taking a taser and everything from. So do we trust that to go into the community? Do we trust that because that action was so unpredictable that looking at the video, none of us saw that coming. I didn't. I was taken by surprise. So do we trust that he's not going to open up somebody's door and get in the car and say, drive? Do we trust that he's not going to hurt somebody else? Or do we neutralize the threat? And then we got to be mindful about saying, because I've said it before too, they could have shot him in the arm. They could have shot him in the leg. They could have. If you're not a sniper, if you're not SWAT, if you're not trained, and even they try to wait till you got the right moment, the right wind movement, I got an eye on the target. They're not blindly shooting, and I'm not saying officers blindly shoot. I'm just saying that they can hone in on a particular target a lot better than most. And so we're still left with the question of, what is it that we want? What is it that we expect officers to do? Because I've also heard they could have took him home. That's not the officer's job. It was just right down the street. Okay, so what if another crime happened in between them taking a drunk man home who probably didn't even really know how to possibly get home? We don't know. We don't know. And what I'm afraid of is that we're not going to be heard if we make the mistake of lumping everything together. Black Lives Matter, 100%. You're not going to hear me say all lives matter, because that's the given. We know that. The emphasis is on Black lives because we're the ones that's being slaughtered and picked off. At the same time, we got to matter to each other, and we got to hold each other accountable. My heart breaks for this man's children, his parents, his family. My heart genuinely breaks for them. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I can't say either if he would have complied, he'd still be alive. I don't know. But because of the way that he reacted, we'll never get to find out. And I just pray that the mayor made the right decision. And a jury will tell, because it's been ruled a homicide. But I think as a society, we all need to be clear about what we want. And when I say a society, that includes everybody. What is it that we want? So yeah, to the lady that was walking down, the Caucasian lady, my Caucasian sister that was walking down the street in Memphis with a sign that says, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. I thank you for caring enough about me, enough about those that look like me to do that. And to those of us that represent what she's trying to get across, I charge us to value ourselves. I charge us to start acting like we matter. I love you guys. Sending lots of love, peace, blessings, joy your way. Have a good night.